Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. Ooh. I'm Joey Savage, my heterosexual life partner.
Corey DLG.
Nico DLG.
And we are upon the Nico DLG segment.
Yeah, boy.
Go ahead, Nico. What you got?
That was
There you
all
go.
the lead-in he gets? That's it?
Yeah.
Show us what you got.
Show me what
I
you
mean,
got.
sometimes you, like, tell a story.
Nah, not today.
No,
I'm gonna let him
Hey
go.
guys,
I'm gonna
what's
let him
going on?
sink or
Nico
swim.
DLG here, coming at you live, like always. So,
That's fair. You know what? That's 100% fair. If you ever come at us not live, we're going to be famous.
Yeah.
right, then this is a completely different show.
This is Sir No Face.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm
Oh, gosh.
scared.
So,
What you got, man?
I recently started reading Saga.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
oh,
cool.
man.
Very
So
good.
Yeah.
I got the trades from Zach, and I started the first one.
It's insane, is it not?
Man, it's just wild. Like the first volume completely, like the first like pages, I'm just very confused,
Is
but
it,
interested.
does it start with the two TV people?
No, that's
No.
that's like page like 5.
Okay, okay.
I know. When I first started reading, I'm reading it in bed, and I was like, Allie, look at this. What is going on here? She's like, what are you reading? It's like,
Right, that's exactly.
You don't even want to know.
I don't even know what's happening right now.
Right.
So it was very surreal, but I'm not saying I have a problem with it, but I have like one issue with it, and that is I feel like it draws attention away from its world when its world is so surreal.
Huh.
So like when I'm reading it, it'll bring up like a very other like not poignant, but like kind of feels like a political issue,
Yeah.
like almost out of the blue, and it kind of brings me out of it a little bit. And I understand like you can make works of art with like political messages or that support your views, but I think it's not as well integrated as it should be. That's just kind of a personal thing. In the first, I don't know how it improves. I don't know how it goes over because I've really only read the first trade. So I mean, that's just kind of a personal thing I'm getting out of it. But that's just kind of a thing I wanted to talk about because we've talked about it before in rap music when we talked about Lupe Fiasco,
Right.
And like the integration of like you have a statement you want to make, you have a platform with your art, make it well.
Right. Childish Gambino's another one who,
Right.
starting out, was saying something. Him and Talib Kweli
Yep.
was saying something originally, and then started to kind of turn into just money rap.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Although, I think the more fantastic and elaborate your creation is, sometimes the better your message can be because you can make it a little bit more obvious. And by that I mean, like, if they're telling a story, like, let's say you want to say that how the U.S. government has treated Native Americans is wrong.
Right.
Instead of just saying the U.S. government treats Native Americans bad, you could craft a whole story around, like, little Oompa Loompas who work in a chocolate factory.
Right.
And who have a bizarre relationship with the owner. And they seem to be a little bit more than employee, almost subservient to Willy Wonka.
Just a little bit.
And then it kind of starts to seem like a really good allegory. And you start to realize, oh my God, the Oompa Loompas are oppressed Indians. And because it's so fantastic and bizarre, it tells the story better than if it was a direct correlation. Right? Like you feel worse for the Oompa Loompas than we as people do for the Native Americans, and it sounds bad
Right.
out loud.
It does sound bad out loud.
But it's true because you're like, oh man, those poor little orange guys. Because like, remember in the remake when Johnny Depp, he actually like steals Oompa Loompas.
Right. Yeah.
He captures them from somewhere and takes them back with him, and you're like,
Right, yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, oh my God,
That's not nice.
which I guess actually probably is a better direct. Okay, so the remake is probably more about slavery, but the first one really felt like it was about Indians to me.
Right.
For the Oompa Loompas at least.
So that's fair. So I mean, but then again, there's a kind of a difference between having an allegory and having a message than having, because I mean, like you think about like Animal Farm, the classic. This is the Russian Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
You
Pig
know,
don't kill
obviously-
pig.
Right.
Exactly.
Ape
So-
don't kill ape.
Right. Tying it back. But like I feel like those are very kind of subtle in the way that like they play out identical to the situation that actually occurred.
Right.
In the case of the Russian Revolution, where it's pretty much just like a 1-to-1. Like you could be like, here's your history lesson, just change the names.
But it's about pigs
Exactly.
and German Shepherd dogs that are ferocious.
Yeah.
Right.
And a
Like
horse.
KGB. Yeah.
When
so,
I
I mean,
read Saga, though, to me, it's just a huge, just crazy, insane story.
Yeah.
It's just intertwined with a bunch of different things going on, and then you'll read something like in the first trade, and then you won't hear about it, and all of a sudden you're going to get to like trade 4, and then that's going to come back like, oh, wait a minute, I remember that. It's just, I don't. I'm pretty caught up on it. I think I'm only a few issues back where it's at, but I'm not. I wasn't excited about it or enthralled with it because of a message it was trying to get across. It was just the elaborate story and artwork that drew me to it.
Yeah, the world is really big in Saga. It's huge.
Yet small.
Right. Like I'm like, again, first, like literally in the first like 10 pages, I mean, you go to like, you see like 6 different races.
Right.
Like, there's already a backstory. There's already,
and like,
there's nothing. This is like the one issue that I'm having with Saga currently.
it's just that you feel like there's
It's a bit brunt with what it's trying to say, and that it doesn't eloquently move its message throughout the story. Instead, just puts it out on the text, like a character will say it.
well, yeah, but
And that's that. I mean,
I see. I get what you're saying, but I feel like for those two characters, it's really important, right? Because you're talking about the main leads, the protagonists,
Marco
right?
and oh god, I can't remember.
And
her
the
name.
girl,
Right?
And they're lovers, but they're 2 different races, and their races are at like a war to the death.
Right.
And they find each other on the battlefield, and somehow through the heat of combat, they fall immediately and madly in love.
Right.
And the 2 of them now are kind of joined together because she's pregnant with his love child, and both sides now want them dead because of that. And so that is their saga. But if you're in a genocidal war to the death, your politics are going to be fairly blunt.
Right.
That's
I
a fair
feel
point.
like, you know what I mean? Because like, it's a black and white issue for you. For you have to kill the other guy because they're scum. They're not supposed to exist.
Right. They murdered my entire family.
Right. And so it's that easy for you. To me, it's no different. Well, no. Actually, to me, it's far better written than when
Don't lose it.
in Star Wars when he's arguing with Han Solo, Luke Skywalker's daddy, Anakin. When Anakin's arguing with Han Solo, or not
What?
Obi-Wan. When Anakin's arguing with Obi-Wan and the third one, and he says, "From my point of view, you're evil." Like, that's the worst line in all of writing.
You're evil.
That's the worst, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to show like a compelling case for why Anakin goes dark,
Right.
but they really just had to murder a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Like, I
Right.
mean, that's
there's absolutely no you can't build sympathy for a character.
right.
Like
Right. And so, like, okay, the guy who created The Sopranos, in the first episode of The Sopranos, the first 4/5 of it, you're learning about a mobster who's a family guy, and you're supposed to fall in love with him. You're supposed to start to really buy into the idea that he's a good guy who happens to run a mob.
Mob family.
Then, the last portion of the episode, he murders the guy with his bare hands. And
What?
right, the dichotomy of that is supposed to be in the way the creator explained it when he did an interview about it very early on in the series. He was like, I wanted you to realize that Tony Soprano is a sociopath. To run a mob, you are a sociopath.
You have to be crazy.
But
you have to be crazy to do.
one of the rules of running the mob is your family is all that matters.
Yep. True
So now you spend the rest of the series wondering, is Tony Soprano a good person who runs the mob, or is he a mobster following the rules? And then
the code.
Right. Then it changes the whole series, because now you're like, man, is he doing this because he's a good family person, or is he doing this because he's a mobster?
Right.
And so you can use these allegories to kind of create. I mean, I don't know. I love Saga. I think the way they're doing it is awesome, and the world building in that is just
There's a lot.
mind blowing.
It's awesome.
They later go to a planet where the trees are spaceships.
No, they're on that right now.
Okay. And that, to me, like, just that idea, just literally they grow spaceships out of trees there.
Right.
So great.
It's so crazy.
It is.
And it's just, everything's so cool. Everything has rules and like magic and just
Yeah,
sci-fi.
magic
and,
exists. I think that was one of the neatest like incorporations. Like everything in magic requires a sacrifice or like something necessary.
Right. And so like
That was really cool.
later in the series, they're going to introduce a bounty hunter who has a cat.
Oh,
And
the lion cat. It's in the first trade.
is it? Man,
Yeah.
I don't remember the. I don't,
So good.
It's so good.
Yeah, he's in the first one.
I love
like
the-
he's talking to like this one like lady with a unicorn horn.
Right.
And she's like, oh, the main character guy, he'll cause the death of millions. And then the cat's like lying.
Right. Anyway,
And she's like, did the cat just call me a liar?
Yes, that cat did.
yes, it did.
Yes, it did, because
That's
you
what
did.
this cat does.
That's the whole point it exists.
Right. And so, yeah, it's just the whole universe that they build is incredible.
Again, I really like Saga. I'm not dissing it.
We
You
just
shouldn't be.
Yeah, we just like
I
a
like
12-minute advertisement for it.
Right, yeah.
Go
Read
out.
Saga.
Brian
Great.
K.
I
Vaughan,
was gonna say-
Fiona.
I don't know.
I don't remember her name.
I was gonna say who wrote it, or Corey.
Brian K. Vaughan wrote it.
He did.
He did.
Award-winning Brian K.
Award-winning Brian K. Vaughan.
That's right.
He writes some crazy stuff.
He really does.
He's really good.
He should have his own. Saga should be an HBO series.
Oh, that'd be nuts.
I
Although
I could see that translating really well.
I don't think it'd be that expensive.
It'd be all green screen. You'd have Robert
Yeah.
Rodriguez or somebody make it, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
I mean, it'd be all green screen. It'd be makeup for the characters, and then everything else is green screen.
green screen.
That would be interesting.
I mean, if they could make a movie like Valerian, they should be able to make this. That movie looks insane.
That's a good point.
They can make
The
Saga.
City of a Thousand Worlds. That's a really neat, like,
What does it
title
even
or
mean?
something. I
does
love
it
it.
even mean?
I know. When you
What
start,
does it even
yeah.
mean?
How does, what is,
City of a Thousand Worlds? What?
does not compute.
Yeah, Siri is
Saga.
not digging this.
It's pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah, Saga is good.
Saga is amazing. It's one of those great independent comic books.
I think it's on like issue 38, maybe
It's got to be past that.
40. Nah, man, because you picked up the last trade, right? That was trade 5 that came out. It was
I think Trade 6 is the most recent.
yeah. Trade 5 goes up to 30, so you got trade 6 was going to go maybe to
36.
So they might
I guess
be
not.
at 40.
You're right. They're probably like their
I
mid
know I'm
40s.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll look it up in the break and then prove I'm right.
Oh,
or
okay.
wrong when we come back from a break. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here, I guess. We come back, we're gonna wrap this show up. Stay with us. You're listening to Nerd Thug Radio.
Hashtag talking nerdy to you.